Here we go. Now I can go live. Going live. And we are live from the wastelands of the internet. I have come once again. Today I have Jensen and Bash with me at the moment. If other people care to join, please feel free. I see that you're in the chat already, Mr. Barkley. Welcome, welcome. I've been chatting back and forth with him. He has now discovered Korean manga.
Is
Oh,
that?
that's known as manhwa.
Yes, yes.
I thought manhwa was the Chinese one.
Well, Korean, Chinese, it's all the same, right? Aren't they all the same kind of look?
Come on.
I'm being crude today. No, I know it. No, to be honest, the Korean manhwa is actually in some ways superior to the Japanese manga. And I say that mainly because right now the manhwa is limited. Okay, so the story
Mm-hmm.
they're doing a lot better job with the storylines that get out. Okay, as it becomes more commonplace, of course, what will happen is the quality will go down. The overall quality will drop. There'll still be high quality ones, just like there's high quality mangas, right? But
Yeah.
there is one thing that's very true about the manhwas. They at least know how to
Yep.
end a series. Okay?
Yeah.
You know, even when
Yeah.
people don't want the series to end, they end it. And it's
Yeah.
not necessarily on a high note or a low note. It's on a, this is the end.
Final note. Yeah.
You know, which is
Yeah.
good. Which is
Good.
good. I mean, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It leaves room if somebody ever wants to come back and do things, right? But for the most
Okay.
part,
Yeah.
are we
I've
ready to
been watching.
go ahead?
Oh, go on, mate. All I was going to say is I've been watching it on the anime Shangri-La Frontier. I've been finding it quite entertaining. Either of you two know that one?
No, no, I don't know that one.
Hmm. No.
Uh,
I tend not to watch
it's
the anime, to
basically
be honest.
that's fair. That's fair. It's just entertaining. Gives me something to chuckle at. Anyway, all yours, man.
All right, let's get started with the first story of the day, shall we? Or the
Mm-hmm.
first story that I'm going to present anyway.
Yeah.
Well, even before the first story, before that, here we go. Just for Jensen, just for Stenson, we'll do a little cat, a little kitty cat fan service. How's that sound?
I am totally okay with this.
Okay, back to the storyline. All right. Ah, Russia's prized A-50 spy plane, all right, loss may signal a preparation for the F-16s. Russia may have been preparing for
Mm.
the imminent arrival of U.S.-made F-16s in Ukraine when it allegedly lost two high-valued aircraft far from the front lines. On Monday, all right, Ukraine's top soldier, I'm not even going to butcher your name, said that Kiev's forces had destroyed a Russian A-50 spy plane and an Il-22 air controller plane over the Sea of Azov, right? Showing that the aircraft in a style was announced. This is what we're looking at to these things, okay? And if
Mm-hmm.
you take a better look, it's an AWACS. All right,
Yep.
all right. It's an AWACS. Now we're delivering. What was it? I think it's like 16 or 12 to 16 F-16s that are being delivered to the Ukraine.
Okay.
How much difference in this war effort is this limited number of F-16s going to provide?
I don't know. The Ghost of Key really showed Russia.
Okay, I'm not I'm not saying I'm just trying to point this out. Plus the fact, okay, as we all know, it isn't just the airframe that makes the difference. The pilots are the most important factor. Do they even have any trained pilots?
Well, I mean, I hear that their training regimen is showing them the movie Maverick.
Not necessarily wrong.
I can do that. That is me.
I'm just trying to look. I don't have a dog in this fight. Okay, I truly don't care really who wins. All right,
Fair.
in this battle, with the exception of one thing. I don't want American funds being used for this anymore. Right? I
Yeah.
didn't want American funds being used in it to begin with. I consider this a civil war within the Russians. If they want to sit up there and try and fight for their own country, good, okay, that's all well and good. But it's a made up country, right? The last time there was a quote unquote Ukraine was 3 years after the fall of the Russian Empire during the First World War. It lasted, I think, a total of 3 years. All right, as kind of a semi-autonomous state. All right, before the Soviet Union crushed it out into oblivion. Before that, it was part of the Russian Empire, and even before that, it had conquered Russia. Okay, so it was the Russian Empire. It was the beginning of the Russian Empire. So
Yeah.
the reason I'm pointing this out is so people understand this is truly a civil war. Yes, they speak a different dialect. All right, it is a or language. I'm not sure if it's an entire different language. I'm not a linguist. Okay, but it's close enough that they basically can understand one another, right? So
Yeah, it's like being if you take like a Mexican dude and somebody that's like Filipino, and you take a Puerto Rican and you put them in the same room, they'll understand each other.
obviously, yeah, to some extent. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize any of this, right? But at the same time, why are we involved in this? Oh, we have to support democracy. What democracy?
No, no, it's because of our money trade route. I mean, no, I mean it's for democracy. Yeah.
No, let's be
I
let's
agree with your first statement.
let's be honest. What this is a money laundering situation for certain entities within the federal government, or the U.S. government. That's why we're giving money. I don't know why you guys are doing it. Why you Brits are doing it.
Hey, I have no concept. It basically makes us look good. That's literally what I think it is.
At least you're not
Be
losing
thankful I
ships, all
wasn't
right?
really crude.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
right.
least I wasn't crude about it and saying he was good on his knees.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, damn. Did I say it out loud? Damn. That was naughty of me.
Lightsaber. Britain blows up
Yeah.
drones with 140 million dollar or £1 million, excuse me, laser dubbed Dragonfire in an incredible first, with each shot costing just a tenner.
Yeah.
I assume that's £10.
It's £10, so to you guys around 12 to 15.
Okay. A British laser gun worth 140 million has blown up drones in a landmark new test for the space age anti-missile weapon. The formidable prototype dubbed Dragonfire. Kudos to the name, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fucking metal.
Name's cool. Gotta appreciate the name. All right. And basically, it's zapping drones, which okay, cool. All right. To be honest,
Mhm.
140 million pounds. I'm still wondering if it's that cheap. Why the hell we don't have one? And then I realized it's
I would
because it's
like
that
one.
inexpensive, so therefore we couldn't do it for that price.
I would like one, and I believe that we should use it to distract our cats.
Oh, yes.
It'll
I,
be it'll be the greatest laser pointer in the world.
Totally agree.
see what happens, and you're agreeing with him, Jensen. Do you realize that what Americans would be doing
Oh,
if they had access to those things?
yes, you'd be literally shooting each other, and you know it.
It wouldn't be just each
Okay?
other. It would be anything and everything. Let's try this. Ooh, new toy.
This is fair. This is fair.
I mean, it's like I said,
And
cool name, good system, like it. Very inexpensive from our perspective, right? Let's be honest. If the program doesn't cost $1 billion, is it even worth it? That's the way our
Before
military
you carry
functions.
on, yeah, before you carry on, Vash, I just messaged you something in Discord. I think you will appreciate it.
Uh-oh, Jensen's in the background working. Like
Ooh.
some things were bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm actually going to send it to UMC just so as you can have a chuckle as well.
Oh
And
no.
I utterly support. No, it's not. It's actually one of my wholesome ones. It does happen once in a while.
Wholesome. Jensen.
Hmm.
Okay, that's not bad.
Thank you.
I'll give you that. I may
I
add.
think it
I
just
may
fits with
add
the
it. I
story.
may. I may add it to the cat thing. Just as one of the things that comes up.
It is adorable, though, isn't it?
It is. It
Yep.
is. It is pretty nice. Right. His name is Link, right? The kitty's name. Anyway,
Oh, he's just a cute kitty. Go on.
freed Israeli hostage says she was held in a Gaza hospital. Oh, say it isn't so. An Israeli woman kidnapped by Hamas during the October 7th attacks on Israel said she fears for her husband, who remains a captive in Gaza more than 3 months later. Sharon Alani Kunoy told CNN's Anderson Cooper during an emotional interview on Wednesday that she is both mother and father right now to her 3-year-old twins, alongside whom she was released in late November. She alleged that she and her children and her husband, David, were held at the Nasser hospital in southern Gaza for the majority of their captivity. So, why am I doing this story? I am doing this story mainly because of this story, right? Which is The Genocide Double Standard by James Smith from The Atlantic. The International Court of Justice in The Hague today made its initial ruling 4 weeks after an application from South Africa that accused Israel of committing genocide against the Palestinians. The court
Before you
ordered
go on,
Israel to ensure that its military does not commit acts of genocide, all right, and to immediately improve the humanitarian aid to the Palestinians, and to prevent and punish genocidal incitement against the Palestinians. However, the court stopped short of ordering Israel to end its military operations against Hamas. Go ahead, Jensen.
yeah. Before you go off on it, and I totally understand you're about to. Is it me, or can you just see the hypocrisy of South Africa saying about genocide? It's not like they know anything about genocide towards white farmers now, do they? They wouldn't recognise genocide if it came over and bit them on the bum, because they're all just good boys and they never did
Well,
nothing
again, they're
wrong.
looking for approval for it. So you have Hamas hiding these people, all right, as hostages in
Hmm.
hospitals. I don't know, but that seems
Yeah.
like your military operations are coming out of hospitals, which is strictly forbidden by the international courts.
Yeah.
And yet I see nobody crying about that. Where are you, Mr. Smith? Where are you,
Hmm.
James? Where are you bitching about what Hamas has been doing on a continuous basis? How come you're not bitching at the Palestinians for putting these kind of butchers and supporting these kind of butchers? Why? Oh, the double standard. No, the double standard is staring you in the face when you look in the mirror, asshole. I can't stand these media sons of bitches. I really can't.
Well, I mean that sounds like you're against Palestine. You're not against the Jews, and for that MC, you're a Nazi.
Oh, didn't you know I was outed as a Jew? Jensen will tell you all
That's
about
true,
it.
he was. Shalom. That's what I'm saying. Shalom.
All right.
I mean, the thing is though, is that's the new Nazi now. Like if you're not pro Palestine, you're a Nazi. And it's like, wait a second. So if I don't want to take out Jews, then I'm a Nazi.
Yeah, if I'm not an
What?
anti-Semite, I'm not a Nazi. Um, So yeah, it's the problem that I have, and things like this. Here, we'll do the next story. Just like this, UN agency probes staff's suspected role in the October 7th attack. The United Nations
Mm.
Agency for Palestine Refugees, UNRWA, or whatever, however you want to try and pronounce it, right, said on Friday it had opened an investigation into several employees suspected of involvement in the October 7th attacks in Israel by Hamas, and that it had several ties with those staff members. The Israeli authorities have provided the UN with information about the alleged involvement of several of the UN employees in the horrific attacks. In other words, we funded these attacks because we, as part of the United States, for all intents and purposes, fund the entire friggin' UN. Oh, there's little bits
Yeah,
here and there, but as far as I'm concerned, we should. It's one of the reasons why I keep saying we need to get out of the UN. We need to leave the UN. And with that said, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. You guys can sit up there and debate what I just said.
no problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, I believe that one, NATO should be dissolved, and two, yes, we should not be in the UN.
Yeah, agreed completely.
Like, fundamentally, both of those, like, whenever, like, a lot of people don't understand the actual definition of a corporation, and whenever the corporation has served its purpose, it's supposed to go away.
No, I agree. I totally agree. It the problem with the UN is the same problem that's with NATO. It's long outlived its usefulness. It is no longer doing what it was created to do, right? Which is to create a stable platform of discussion. It's no
Yeah,
longer stable, right? Greetings,
no.
nimble horse. How are you doing? Right? But it frosts me with these people for when we spend how many billions of dollars, literally, and I'm not, this is hundreds of billions of dollars, have been poured into quote unquote the Gaza Strip from these UN organizations. Hundreds
Yeah.
and hundreds of billions of dollars. Arafat, when he died, was worth like $4 billion. It went to his wife. His wife held all the accounts, right? That was what? When did Arafat die? 1990s, 1980s, sometime around there.
Something like that.
And yet he was worth all this money. And people were like, "Well, how did hell did he get this money? He's supposed to be a terrorist that was always on the freaking run." We all know
Hmm.
how he's doing. He's freaking fleecing their own people. All the things that they talk about, giving aid to the Palestinians. No. And I'll tell you something else. That's another problem. Why should we allow humanitarian aid to the people who think that butchering children is a good thing? Why? We've been giving these
I
guys
agree.
aid for 50 friggin' years. 5 decades worth of aid has gone into these people, all right, and yet look at what they've turned themselves into. You give them money for freaking water pipelines so they can create some nice pipelines that have fresh water for their people. And what do? They cut it up to use as Katyusha rockets. Because water isn't important to them. And then they sit back and claim, oh, that's just the leaders. We're just the innocent Palestinians. La, 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 la. Forgetting, of course, that they freaking voted for these assholes.
Hmm.
And I'm not a huge freaking Israeli fan. All right, but the thing is I recognize who these people really are and what you're really dealing with. And Jensen, if I'm wrong, please correct me. The problem isn't Hamas. Hamas is just a symptom. The problem is the Palestinians and their attitude with this 12th century mentality.
Yeah.
All right. So you're fighting a mentality. Let me ask a question. How do you fight a mentality by a group of people who are going to run around, who are going to constantly run around talking about their oppression, right? While they have fertility clinics, all right, being run free of charge because it's being paid for by my tax dollars. That's how oppressed they were in the Gaza Strip.
Mm-hmm.
They had fertility clinics.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like how America, there are people that are on their iPhones saying fuck capitalism. That still confuses the shit out of me.
Gays for Palestine. End statement. That's literally it. End statement. I do not need to say any more than that.
Well, you guys are the ones that created Palestine. Even the word Palestine was created by you Brits.
Yeah. Oh, you, okay. You want to go with that one? All right. We created you, bitch. Next.
We left you, bitch.
Yeah, we still created you. It's okay. Well, it's
Yeah, by
okay, kiddie.
throwing away your undesirables, we just
No, that was
recycled them.
Australia. That was Australia. It's close though.
Yeah, he's got a point there. The undesirables didn't go to America; they went to Australia. The
Yeah,
ones
technically,
who
we sent the
were
fairly good ones to you.
we got the ones that were tolerated, all right, but they kind of said please leave, all right. The undesirables
Yeah.
they shipped, right? It's a little different, but anyway, on
Yeah,
to the
they were basically like, you can be in a life of prison, or you can try and fight your way into the wilderness. Yeah, I'll take the wilderness.
well.
To be honest, was that necessarily a better thing? Let's be completely honest. In Australia, everything is trying to kill you, including the other people. So,
Well,
yeah,
first
it
of
kind of
all,
says a lot.
the purpose of the British colonies, right, began with
Mhm.
let's look for gold. When there wasn't gold, the
Yeah.
British said, okay, let's look for gold in other people's ships. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Right? Oh, look, Spanish ships with gold.
Did we find
Hey, we
gold?
found
Yeah.
gold, guys, and we don't even have to dig.
I'm just pointing out that Americans was founded on the whole search for gold. All right, I'm just putting it out there.
This is true. Yeah.
All right, then the next group came in, the ones that said, you know what, you guys celebrate Christmas. We don't want that. We're going to the United States.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
point it out. Just put it out
Which is kind of funny, really, because you,
there.
as the American, I'm actually not doing State the Mickey now, but the Americans lose their freaking mind over Christmas.
Christmas
And
is
if you even
important.
slightly say no, they don't, I'm just going to point at the
No, Christmas is
lights
very
that you have on
important.
your houses.
Christmas is very important. Not gonna deny
Yes.
that. Over to the British storylines again. Fuel tanker
Mm.
operated by the Trafigura group. This is actually run out of Britain, to be honest. All right, caught fire
Mm.
after. I love how it says caught fire after being hit by a missile. What? How about
Yeah,
was set on fire? Is this difficult to say?
pretty much, yes.
All right, by hit by a missile in the Red Sea. All right, Bloomberg called the most significant attack yet by the Houthi rebels. Yeah, because they finally hit a tanker instead of like a fishing boat.
I
The
mean, let's break this down here. How hard must it be to actually miss a tanker? They're not exactly the fastest moving things on the ocean, now are they? And they're also not exactly tiny. So hitting one, I don't really see a problem overall. You know?
well, I mean, to hit one and set it on fire is actually pretty tough, right? I mean, you got to
Okay.
use a pretty decent missile system, right? Because you got to get it over
Mm.
there to go miles out at sea. It's not like it's next door, right? The
Fair.
Yemeni group claimed responsibility for the strike, which was carrying naphtha fuel used to
Naphtha. Yeah.
produce gasoline and plastics, leading Brent oil to trade higher. Right. Last week,
Hmm.
maritime advisory firm Sea Intelligence said disruptions to the shipping from Houthi attacks in the Red Sea have been more damaging to the supply chain than the early COVID-19 pandemic. If that's the case, then I have a solution. I nobody wants it. We have a bunch of B-52s that aren't doing anything, and a lot of old World War II era bombs.
Mm-hmm.
I can eliminate the threat. Do you want the threat eliminated or not? Just pointing it out. Just
Question
pointing it
is,
out.
can you sink that entire area? If yes, go for it. That's what I
What
say.
do you mean sink it? You just carpet bomb
Well,
it till there's nothing moving. That we can do.
this could work. Okay.
Okay, if you
Might turn the
blow it up
place
too
into
much,
glass,
oil
but
starts to come up under the ground. I mean, it sits right there.
Oh, look, America talking about invading for oil again.
I'm not talking about
Gosh, didn't
invading.
see
Did
that
I
coming.
say anything about America invading?
No, you didn't say it, but you
Okay,
just sort of hinted it
I didn't
by
even hint
indicating
at
that
it.
little popping up.
I was just saying you could bomb it until the
Mm-hmm.
oil is on the ground or on the surface. That's all I was saying.
Hmm. Does
I mean, if you
anybody
guys would
believe
have
him?
done that right, it wouldn't even be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, this is the issue. Photos show Iranian missile parts the U.S. Navy SEALs seized in a deadly nighttime raid. Illegal Iranian warheads intended for Houthi rebels in Yemen were seized in a deadly nighttime raid of, I don't know what the how, right? In the Red Sea last week. Photos of the January 11th operation show the boat involved and the missile parts that were seized were aboard it in an attempt to defeat the Houthi rebels' missile attacks on shipping vessels. The operation marked the first seizure of Iranian supplies, advanced conventional weapons to the Houthis since the rebels launched the series of attacks against commercial shipping. Well, it's not like we can't stop all shipping, all right, of in and out of Yemen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we doing that?
Saying nothing. I personally
um,
think you should, but
probably because of our extremely smart and bright president.
Uh-huh. Extremely bright president.
Like a 40-watt light bulb trying to light an auditorium.
You
mm-hmm.
mean like a light bulb that was first put in by Edison?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh look, it's a vacuum tube. That's a better way of describing him. He's a vacuum tube.
Oh dear.
No, I can't say that because vacuum tubes are useful. Um,
Oh, shot, sir, shot.
uh, here's a fun story. Iran, 1 week away from a nuclear bomb, warns ex-UN inspector as the braces as the West braces for a showdown. Iran could produce enough fuel for 6 nuclear bombs in just 1 month and even produce a single atomic bomb in as little as a week, a former UN inspector warned as fears of a growing regional conflict surge. Weapons expert David Albright has issued out a sobering warning about the destructive potential of Iran's arsenal due to the country's ability to produce large amounts of weapons grade uranium. Iran can quickly make enough weapon grade uranium for many nuclear weapons, something it could not do in 2003. Today, it would need only about a week to produce enough for its nuclear weapons. Really? How is that possible? And how does this guy, with all due respect to him, know this?
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as we know, those facilities that produce high grade uranium are under the control of the UN, right?
Oh, you're being serious. Okay.
Okay. What are you going to do if Iran does detonate a nuclear weapon? What's the world going to do?
Laugh as Israel turns Iran into a radioactive crater. Then laugh
Well, I
as the
mean,
rest of the Middle East turn Israel into a radioactive crater. And then and you see a pattern here until we eventually get a full-on world war. But it will still be funny for at least some people.
Go ahead,
I
Bash.
mean, like last time I checked, they're going to have like 20 people carry the nuclear bomb and then just throw it at us.
Iran has launched satellites. You do know that,
Yep.
right?
Worldwide.
They have working satellites in Iran. Just trying to point that out.
Mm-hmm.
So they can finally have HBO. Congratulations, Iran.
Judge bars the EPA from enforcing a Civil Rights Act provision in Louisiana's Cancer Alley. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked the Environmental Protection Agency and the Department of Justice from enforcing a Title VI of the Civil Rights Act disparate impact requirements against Louisiana agencies. You're going to love this. Judge James D. Kane, a Trump appointee, all right, ruled against the residents of a stretch of parishes along the Mississippi River known as Cancer Alley, an epicenter of petrochemical manufacturing in the U.S. with disproportionately high rates of cancer. Last year, the governor, Jeff Landry, Republican, all right, then the state attorney general sued the EPA to block a civil rights investigation into the potentially disparate impacts. So, in other words, this area is getting higher rates of cancer. We're gonna sit up there and say it's because you don't care about black people.
Yeah.
Hell.
The judge is right in this
Like, why
case.
would you live in a place called Cancer Alley?
Well, it's first of all, there are always going to be areas that have higher cancer rates than other things. First thing you got to do is find out why. Now, having a petrochemical area nearby, yeah, all right. That's like sitting there going, see that radioactive waste pile over there? For some reason, the people around here have higher rates of cancer. Yeah, this is not a surprise. It's not rocket science. Okay. Now, the first thing is just how high are the rates? Number one, and number two is because they use terms like this. Oh, the cancer rate is 50 times the national average. 50 times?
Mm-hmm.
50 times. So, in other words, not even.
So basically, everyone in there has cancer.
No, they're saying it's 50 times the rate. Well, if it's 50 times the rate, 100 times the rate would be twice as many people get cancer here than in other places.
Yes.
So, this is 1.5 people for every one person that gets cancer on a national average. Does that make sense to you? That saying that this is a huge issue? And I'm not scoffing at cancer. Cancer is is a devastating disease.
Oh yeah.
Especially it depends upon the type of cancer as well. But because some cancers are more treatable than
So what you're saying is you're insensitive to black people. Got it.
I'm insensitive to an issue where people are saying, well, these people are living here and there's cancer there. Gee, who left? All the people who could afford to leave. What does that leave? A majority of poor people or people who are about determined to stay there. Guess what? You run the risk. Okay. For those who don't know, there's a huge section around Chernobyl, all right, where they ban population centers from being there, human population, and there's still people living in there because they refuse to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They just look like, the hills have eyes.
No, no, they tend to be older people, but their cancer rates really aren't that much higher, to be honest. Um, that's not saying that it's a safe place to live. I wouldn't live there. I'll be honest with you. I might live there in about 10 more years because the radiation's going away, to that degree. But anyway, ready for the next story?
Go for it.
He,
Hippie heaven. 1970s bombing fugitive may have worked for the Kanagawa Prefecture, says sources. A man thought to be a suspect in the decades, like half century now, all right, old wanted list for one of a series of bombings in 1970s may have worked in the Kanagawa prefecture near Tokyo before being admitted to a hospital for cancer treatment earlier this month, investigative sources say. The man, believed to be Satoshi Kirishima? Kirishima? I'm not trying to butcher your name, dude.
Yeah,
Not that I care because you're a hippie.
yeah.
All right, is likely to have kept himself hidden in the prefecture, and the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department is still investigating whether anyone was supporting him. Was was he living by stealing food from people? Somebody had to be supporting him in some way, right?
Yeah.
The man, meanwhile, worked for an extended period at a building contractor in the prefecture using the same alias that he gave at the hospital, sources say, while the Tokyo Police Public Security Bureau is questioning the man who is receiving treatment in the hospital in Kamakura for terminal cancer. It will likely take time to determine his identity through DNA testing and other measures. His physical features, including his height, right, seem to be a match of those of the bombing suspect pursued by police. The man also mentioned details of the suspect's family makeup, the source said. Even if he is confirmed as Kirishima, police may not be able to arrest him due to the severity of his health conditions caused by the man's stomach cancer, sources said. As his condition worsened to the point where he crouched on a street, he was hospitalized this month, sources said, adding that he was accompanied to the hospital by a coworker. The source quoted the man as saying, I want to draw the curtain on my life under my real name. In other words, he's admitted to being the hippie bomber.
Mm-hmm.
50 years this guy was on the lam, friggin' hippies. So what
So
was the bombing about? Extreme left-wing group Kirchner belonged to, Kiri, I'm just going to call him Kiri, belonged to, carried out a number of attacks on Japanese companies and entities, including a bombing of a Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Limited headquarters in central Tokyo in 1974, which killed 8 people and injured 165. The group also targeted companies operating overseas, including many trading houses, Mitsu and Company, the construction companies, Tasei Corporation, Kajima Corporation, as protest against Japan's military and commercial expansion in East Asia before World War II. Boy, that was effective.
so um so he got away with it basically,
Mhm.
and their conviction rate's going to go down from 98% to 97%.
Pretty
they
much, yeah.
they can still convict him. They just won't do anything about it. But they could
Mm.
convict him. Off to Cali Land, fairy tale land, land of
Mm.
milk and honey for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they have an $18 Big Mac. Yeah.
$208 billion sought by California to address its biggest budget deficit to date. $208
Hey, I
billion
know that.
dollars. That's a quarter of a trillion, or close to a quarter of a trillion dollars.
Hey, hey, MC, I know that you gave me like 1.5 million to fix my shit, but I need more.
Yeah, well, you're American. You've got a lot of shit to fix.
We spent it all on
Welcome,
ketamine.
Batman.
Hello.
Mate.
Oh, there. Heal Hydra.
California
Hell,
is
Batman.
facing a daunting fiscal challenge with a projected $37.9 billion budget deficit. all right, Governor Gavin Newsom, addressing the gravity of the situation, has proposed measures including utilizing the state's reserve funds. His approach also contemplates delaying the minimum wage increase for healthcare workers, all right, indicating the seriousness of the financial shortfall the state is facing.
So so this is the most backward shit that I've heard so far because I was just reading uh, a deal of where they raised the minimum wage. Okay, so they raised the minimum wage for McDonald's workers to $20 an hour, but nurses and people that actually do shit that's functional, not being against people that work at McDonald's, but more important shit than just making a fucking pre-manufactured cheeseburger, they can't get a raise.
Hold on a minute. You do realise that that McDonald's workers actually produce meat from inorganic substances, right?
Magic.
No, it's alchemy.
So they're a bunch of God damn it, Batman.
Yep, yep. All those nerds that you were taking the piss off work for playing Dungeons and Dragons are now creating your food.
Yeah. Listen to this. Listen to this next paragraph. Newsom describes this approach as saying, "This is a story of correction and normalcy, and
Oh,
one
is this
that,
Gavin
in
Newsom?
some
No.
respects, anticipated. The acuity, perhaps not, but the one we're certainly prepared to work through. The statement reflects the governor's acknowledgement of the challenges while demonstrating his readiness to navigate through these difficulties. All he did was give out word salad that meant nothing. It doesn't
That's
indicate
all
There
they
are
do now.
there there are crackheads that come into my store that have better fucking money maintenance skills.
All right. First of all, this they're acting as if this is new. Okay, and the reality is that they've been running a deficit for a decade. It was covered up
Yeah.
because during the COVID crisis, California was literally given billions and billions and billions of hundreds of billions of dollars, right, from the federal government. Well,
Why?
guess we're fighting COVID supposedly, you know,
How? What
but
were they trying to outact it?
by giving it to a Democrat, giving billions to a Democrat to make sure that we to make sure that he lived the life lifestyle that the regular peons couldn't live, which is why the people of this state. You want to know how screwed up these people in the state are? This guy demanded that everyone at the Super Bowl, all right, wear a mask, and then was shown at a restaurant having a great time with hundreds of people at a party, and these assholes voted this stupid son of a bitch back in.
Hold on a minute. He during lockdown, he was at a party with other. Are you sure he's not in the British government?
Oh, shot.
That,
Yeah, at this stage, yeah. If he actually registered and got allowed to participate, hold on. If he actually registered and got allowed to participate in our general election as leader of the United Kingdom, I would vote for Putin.
I'm just trying to.
That's how bad it's getting.
I'm just trying to point out that you guys don't re-elect the son of a bitch. They did in California. Just
No, we
just put it out
re-elect
there.
the sons of bitches. We do.
No, hold it, Batman. No, we don't actually get the right to actually vote on any of this. They just dump people on us, and we just have to live with it.
That is a good point.
Thank
You got
you.
your system.
Oh, look, it's Liz Truss. Oh, sorry, it's not.
Not for long. Anyway, before you start, I'm gonna have to head off.
All
Hope
right.
you guys have fun. I'll see you at the game in basically 40 minutes, Batman.
40 minutes.
40.
Right.
7 o'clock start our time. Okay.
Later,
All right, guys.
Jensen.
I'll
Bye
speak
bye.
to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Later.
So I've got to go around 7ish, just so you know.
Well, we're mostly through, so we can get through these last few just to very quickly. Anna Winter kept her sunglasses on The entire time she was telling the Pitchfork staffers they were getting laid off. The writer.
You know why that is? Because she thinks they're special. They're those special sunglasses from They Live.
Yeah, Anna Wintour, the Condé Nast's longtime fashion doyen, all right, is famous for singular style trademark, her sunglasses. Indeed, Winter did not take off her sunglasses the entire time she met with employees of Pitchfork this week to tell them that they were losing their jobs after Condé Nast had decided to subsume the music criticism site, all right, into GQ, according to one of the now former employees in attendance. One
Now, I've got to
bizarro.
say something before you go on.
Sure.
Yeah, she's giving these people a sack, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she's not taking her sunglasses, that's fucking insulting.
It is.
I would have just got up there and ripped them off her face,
Right.
broke them in two.
One absolutely bizarro detail from this week is that Anna Winter, seated indoors at the conference table, did not remove her sunglasses while she was telling us that we were about to get canned, said Allison Hussey, a former Pitchfork staff writer. All right. The indecency we've seen from upper management this week is appalling. Well, okay, that might be true, all right, and I don't disagree that it in a sense is appalling, okay. But one thing that I find very appalling is these. This is the person. Anna Wintour is the person who's in charge of GQ, Gentleman Quarterly. Do you see a problem here, folks? Just putting it out there. So you got a loony leftist woman in charge of Gentleman Quarterly. Kind of
She's
like
a woman, is she? I thought she was a zombie by the look of her. It's probably why she's got her sunglasses on, so nobody can see that she doesn't have any eyes, just sockets.
You think she's a lich? Is that what you're trying
Either
to say?
that, or she was just listening to "Don't Mess Around with the Guy in the Shades." Oh no!
No. What it is, Vash, is she's heard that song once too many. You know, I wear my sunglasses at night.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was quoting.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care.
More good news. Chaos, fury engulf Los Angeles Times in historic cuts to the newsroom. Oh no! Don't tell me there's more journalists on the that are going to get fired. LA Times
Hold on,
Guild
there are
members.
journalists these days.
LA Times Guild members met with management on Wednesday to try and create order from the chaos of the bloodiest layoffs in decades at the nation's largest West Coast newspaper. Even at midnight on Wednesday, the turmoil continued as the guild members informed members of additional cuts in one of the most bizarre days of bargaining we've experienced. Here, we want you to do this. 20 more staff members gone. Next! What's our next proposal?
I want mine with relish. Okay, you're fired. Bang. Sorry. Old spitting image reference.
Does the words learn to code
We
mean
need
anything?
It was back
We
in
need-
the 80s when I had Ian McGregor as head of the National Coal Board, you know, the American guy. And he was basically sacking all the miners. And Spitting Image did one where he's dressed as a clown. And it's there's a breakfast at McGregor's you'll enjoy. You get going on with this pistol. You're fired. Bang. You're fired. Bang. And there's this one miner. I want mine with relish. Okay. You're fired. Bang.
Look, I'm not. I really don't want to laugh at people that are losing their jobs, right? But these people, are American hating leftist loons. All of them. Okay, they're nothing but parasites. They really have been nothing but parasites. They're not honest people. They're not good people.
What about Jack McGee?
At base, they're average people.
No.
Okay.
Hold on. What about Jack McGee? I mean, he spent all that time chasing the Hulk.
That is not Jack McGee. All right. The problem that I've had with these people is they've known for a long time that they were living quote unquote high on the hog. Okay, and they were
Yeah.
looking, and they got to the point where they were quickly looking down on anybody and everybody, just like that Harvard professor, all right, who stood up there and went after Rufo, all right, who I don't even know much about Rufo, but she went after Rufo because he said he had a Harvard degree, and she said, "Yeah, but you got it from the extended campus, so therefore you're not truly a Harvard graduate." And she was one of the teachers of the extended campus. Right? This is the
You
kind
can't
of
make this shit up, folks.
entitlement. This is the entitlement kind of mentality that these people have. They are
Yep.
just disgusting because they think they are owed this. They think that you work for them, not that they're public servants,
Yep.
not that they're helping everybody. Oh no! You are the plebe that must provide for them, and when you don't, they get all bitter. And for all these people that are talking about unions, this is the result of the unions who were warned what was going to happen eventually if they went down this road. And boy, howdy, they went down that road thinking, you know what? It's a never ending pile of money, and I'm going to get mine. Just like the grasshopper and the ant, and they partied it up, and now they're looking around going, wait a minute, I'm losing my job. No shit. You're not honest
You
people.
know, to me, it reminds me of I've been rewatching King of the Hill recently,
That's your fault.
and I mean, it predicted a lot of shit. But the the thing that I was gonna say is it reminds me of one episode where there's like this hippie that comes up and goes, "Can I have? Can you give me $20?" And then Hank's like, "No," and then they go fascist.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
These people are so damn entitled. And uh, okay, the reason I was gone last few weeks is because I had work in Atlanta. Right, work in the office and
Ah, right. So you'll have had to get the diving gear and everything.
not Atlantis. Okay, I took care of Atlantis a long time ago.
Ah.
Anyway,
Yeah, he sat on it.
anyway, I was in Atlanta, and there was a training class for some of the newest hires that we have for engineers and everything. And they target people that just recently left the military with certain skills. That's what they're trying to target. And I was being told by the guys that are trying to do the class that even these people that are coming from the military have an attitude towards coming to work on time. Now, what does that tell you? If the military can't get people to be where they need to be on time, which the military is already having a recruitment problem. Right? I could have done a whole story where the Navy is now admitting that they're having a problem recruiting people. Right? Might have something to do with the fact that in the Navy has kind of a connotation to it. Nobody wants to be in the Navy. All
well, I
right.
mean, I hear that
Yes.
you can get rich off your knees.
All right.
Yeah, but what happens if you only have nephews? See what I did there?
Yes. But these are
Wish you
huge
didn't.
issues. These are huge issues that are becoming that are from a societal perspective. The entitlement is out of control.
They're unraveling society.
Well, the bills have come due, and they don't realize, hey, dude, you who think that you're entitled, you've got to pay the bills. Somebody
Well, that's what
has to
entitled
pay it.
means. It means, see, that's what entitled really means. It's where you've got all the privileges, all the freedoms, and none of the responsibilities.
Well, there's a world of hurt coming
It's
now.
utopia.
There's a
See,
world
it's
of
utopia.
it is, and there's a world of
You
hurt
know
coming
that
now.
utopia is a very leftist thing
Yes.
because you've got those people who live in the utopia, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want for nothing. They've got all the luxuries, all the food, lovely, wonderful homes, entertainment. Don't have to work, and then you've got the people outside of utopia who are living in dystopia because they've got to work to pay for the utopia.
Yep. Let me tell
That's
you,
why H.G. Wells, if you notice in all of his books, he tried to create a utopia, but each time he found that it was a logical fallacy and it couldn't work.
exactly, because they're
Well, wasn't
one of the natures of man. Okay, we have a duality nature, but one of our biggest natures is, yes, we're generally curious people. All right, mankind has generally got a curiosity about it, but he's also very lazy.
And there's another funny thing about humanity. We need obstacles to overcome. We need a degree of hardship in our lives. Otherwise, Otherwise, our laziness does overtake us. We literally lose interest in life.
Yeah, Vash, were you going to say something?
I mean, yeah, you're pretty much correct there. Like, one of the there was an experiment that comes to mind. The I think it's the experiment of the beautiful ones.
No, is that
Long story short, with the mice.
the Mouse Utopia?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It.
that's certainly one.
I
That's
think
the experiment I thought you were going to. Because one of the experiments I enjoy hearing about is, I think they did it in California, one of the UCLA ones back in the 60s. They had a cross section, 100 female volunteers and 100 male volunteers. And what they did was they had each of these volunteers to go into a room, strip naked, then go through the other door, right? With the men, they had to walk through this room full of women who were ignoring them, right? The women, it was the
yeah.
same thing, only it was a room full of men who were ignoring them. And apparently, I can't remember the numbers, but literally the ludicrously vast majority of men were relieved that they got ignored. A roughly equal number of the female volunteers were annoyed that they were ignored.
Yep, that didn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. On to the next story. Continuing with the California theme, LA is being stripped for parts. Here's what the city council wants to do about it. Well, this ought to be good. Copper wire thefts have plagued Los Angeles for years, posing safety hazards and costing the city millions of dollars. I think you're close to billions at this point, right? The
Yeah,
incidents have surged this last year, according to city officials, who in the past few months have escalated their efforts, all right, to curtail both the thieves and the buyers of the stolen wire. In the latest move, the city council member Kevin DeLeon, DeLeon, okay, and
yeah,
Tracy Park put forward motions
De
this
Leon. Yeah,
yeah, put forward motions this week to combat the sheer magnitude of the thefts, which they say resulted in citywide repair costs exceeding $17 million. The measures would create a task force, right, and a standing rewards program for public assistance. Yeah, that'll work.
A
Yeah,
standing rewards program.
that'll work.
yep. No, it won't. Do you know what happens when the fog lifts in Los Angeles?
What was that?
Do you know what happens when the when the smog lifts in Los Angeles?
What?
It goes to
Nobody,
China.
nobody goes out because they can see what a shite hole they live in.
Possibly, possibly. Governor Little to send the Idaho State Police troopers to the Mexico border amid the Texas standoff. Boise, Idaho.
That's better.
Governor Brad Little announced Friday that he plans to send more Idaho state troopers, all right, to the U.S. Mexico border. Idaho is nowhere near the Mexican border, for those who don't know it. In fact, it borders Canada, so you understand. To assist in securing our nation's border as Texas is in the middle of a legal standoff with the federal government over border security. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled earlier this week that federal agents have the authority to take down razor wire that the Texas law enforcement agencies placed along the southern border in an attempt to keep migrants out of the country. Texas authorities have since occupied a public park near the Rio Grande River in an attempt to keep the federal authorities out.
Yeah, this is old news now.
Uh,
It's going to come to. They're going to come to blows. Texas and the federal government, aren't they? They're going to come to blows.
quite probably. All right, because
I mean, Texas has the option to secede from the United States.
no, it does not. Okay.
According to Texas, it does.
Well, according to a lot of people, if they had that option, then they would have been succeeded already because they already tried to secede once and failed. Okay.
They'll try again. Yeah,
It'll
the way things are
create
going.
something different this time. Hopefully, what'll happen is this time what it'll go to a convention of states, which is what should have been, which is what should have happened. All right, prior to the Civil War, what should have happened is they should have had a call for the convention of states to fix the problem. Okay, and
I can see most of the countries in the Western world devolving into civil warfare before too long.
it's a possibility.
Where this insanity's going.
Well, I mean, you end up with this kind of stupidity. Trump must pay $83.3 million to E. Jean Carroll for defamation. Former President Donald Trump has been ordered to pay by a federal jury to pay $83.3 million to E. Jean Carroll, in addition to a separate $5 million for sexual abuse and defamation judgment issued against him last year. Before the jury entered the room, senior U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan asked the panel what the M on in their form signified. The foreperson said it was millions. All right. The announcement inspired joy from Carol, who embraced her attorney at the plaintiff's table. Okay.
Oh, for fuck's
This
sake.
woman is a lying sack of shit. And if you want to sue
Yeah.
me into oblivion, go for it, Gene. All right, because you claim something from a memory from 20 something years ago, and even after that memory, you went on Anderson Cooper, which was pointed out to me by Vash, saying how you had rape fantasies. So I don't want to hear this crap. All of a sudden, you're talking about how terrified you were? Go ahead.
Not to mention, there's also the other detail as to how she got how much money that she did, which was suing another person over allegations, I think, quite a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of when she was young and she wasn't all that. She wasn't much to write home about.
No.
And it was a really famous, it was like one of the top tier successful men of the 80s and 90s. I can't remember his name exactly. Somebody in the chat might know. But,
and the supposed rape supposedly happened in a dressing room at one of the high rises, like at Macy's or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody should tell E. Jean Carroll that it isn't rape when you shout and screaming, "Hurt me, big boy."
And the other rape happened in an elevator.
In an elevator.
Which was the one that she sued for before Trump.
So they were going up, and they were going up while he was going down on her. Right, fair enough.
Yep.
And of course, none of this was she didn't go to the police or anything else where they could have gotten evidence and everything else to do this. No. We're gonna go years and years and years later, so that we actually don't have to prove it. And then I'm gonna get upset because he called me a liar. He called me a liar. I'm calling you a liar.
Well, right? I mean, MC, don't you know we're supposed to just listen and believe and go, "Oh my goodness, you."
Yes, I am listening. I am listening, and I do believe that she's a liar.
We're supposed to. Oh no, you boss woman. Thank you for standing up for what you believe in.
She was the owner / major editor of one of these major newspapers for women, talking about women's empowerment, and yet didn't even use this as an opportunity to sit up there and go onto her case and show what an strong, empowered woman was really like. Come on.
Yep. No, I'm going to have to bugger off because, as you know, 7 o'clock, I've got a game to play, and I've got stuff that I need to do.
Okay, we just got a few more stories left.
Sorry.
But enjoy Batman. Enjoy your
Yep.
your playtime.
You too. And I'll scream at you later.
Later, man. Bye bye.
Yep. Later, Batman.
Kurt Lick.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, it is. For me too. Click.
There we go. We finally got rid of him, Bash. Now what are we gonna do? It's a joke, folks.
Oh wait, you went away from the other article.
Yeah, I
the
get it.
the GOP.
I'm not worried about that. We're just gonna skip through because we just got a few left, and unfortunately it is getting close to my time to get going too. So let's bounce to this one. CBS anchor admits he failed to find a single person outside a New Hampshire grocery store who feels good about the economy after inflation rises 3.4%. A CBS anchor admitted he failed to find a single person outside a New Hampshire grocery store who feels good about the economy after inflation rose another 3.4%. While previewing the upcoming segment, CBS Mornings co-host Tony Dakpoli, I'm not trying to butcher your name, right, said that he and his team couldn't find anybody that was feeling good about the economy. People are really bummed about the economy here in New Hampshire, he said, even if the overall big picture numbers are going in the right direction. They're not. They are made up numbers, okay, from a group of people who are known liars about these numbers. That's what everybody understands. Okay?
Everybody understands that because they're living through it.
Exactly.
Like I was saying off the air, I'm currently making more money than I have ever done in my life at a rather low end type of job. And yet I'm still having to be paycheck to paycheck on an income based housing, and I still have to go to food banks in order to make sure that I can live
And yet somehow
like that.
we're supposed to just ignore what's really going on. If you wanted to go buy
Yeah,
let's say you wanted to go out and buy a brand new pickup truck, right? 10 years ago, 12 years ago, even 15 years ago, a brand new pickup truck would cost you around $30,000, right? It's over
yeah.
80,000 now. Over 80,000. This is insane. And that was a great pickup truck 15 years ago. $30,000 would got you got the top of the line freaking model that was out. Now the
Yeah.
cost of a brand new pickup truck with top of the line is going to be at least $80,000, and that's at least 80,000. If you really want to take a look at certain ones, it would be way over that.
Oh yeah. Like I looked up the price of a certain SUV, and it was like $40,000.
Yeah,
But if you look at it, what it was like 10 years ago, no, if you look at it 5 years ago, just simply 5 years ago, let's go back to the Trump era for a second. Gas was $1.86.
yeah,
How much is gas now? Like $3 a gallon.
320, depending upon where you're
Yeah,
at.
I was yeah, I was watching an '80s movie. It was the Sesame Street Big Bird movie, and
Okay.
I saw in the background, I saw in the background of one of the parts of Sesame Street, a hot fudge sundae was like 85 cents. Okay, that was in the '80s.
Yeah,
In the '90s, a hot fudge sundae that I had to pay for was $1.25.
yeah.
Okay, early 2000s, around $1.50. Now to get a hot fudge sundae that's barely a sundae is like $3,
Oh, I think it's more than that.
$5.
Yeah, five, at least five, not if not closer to like seven.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
absolutely
fucked up.
insane. It's insane, right? And yet people, you know, oh, but see, you got to take out the cost of the volatile things like food and energy. Food and energy are the cost of everything, dude. All right, if you take a
Yeah,
look at anybody who sits up there and says, well, inflation aside from those costs, energy is how you get all the other items. Okay, the problem is that those are lagging indicators. Okay, but they're gonna go way up when the energy sector goes way the hell up. And food, you've seen what's happened to food. And the question is what the hell's going on with food? Why is food like this? I can tell you right now, it's regulation. Energy's the energy raises are a part of it, but the biggest problem with that is all the stupid regulations. Well, you can't use a cattle prod on cattle anymore because PETA says that it makes the cows feel bad on the way to the slaughterhouse. Huh? These people think that we have organically produced meat. Really? Organically produced meat. You want to tell me how that's possible? It's just nonsense with all these regulations that have been put in place, all right, with all the stupidity that's been going on there. And so what's been happening on these farms? The average farmer now can't afford his farm, so he sells out to a farming corporation. And who buys
like
those
BlackRock
and who buys that up? China,
and
right?
BlackRock.
Well, and BlackRock. But yeah, so you have all these issues going on and nobody cares. Don't act like you care because you don't. And yet your food prices are now spiking out of control, and you voted for this bullshit when people warned you who these people really are. This is why, right now, until people understand this, until the United States gets together and the people in the states get together and understand we've got to call a convention a state for one reason, one primary reason only, right? And that is to reduce the size of the federal government. Mandate it. Because they won't do it on their own. The states are going to have to take control and say, no, we're going to cut the size of the federal government by 2/3. Not the military. That means the freaking with a cut, you're going to have to cut some in the military too. I'm not like denying that, but you're going to have to cut the federal workforce by 2 friggin' thirds. People think that the U.S. military, all right, is this huge segment of the federal bureaucracy. And it is if you take a look at a percentage against each little group, but it's a minority, all right, compared to the rest of the size of the federal government.
It could be argued that it's a major minority,
Well, it's a major,
but
but
still
it's a large.
it's not like significant compared to all of this money that constantly like let's bring up uh Hunter Biden, for example. Okay. The dude tried to say that $1.4 million on hookers and blow
Mm-hmm.
was mandatory for his business.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what kind of business he's in, but I
Selling
mean,
hookers and
if that's
blow. I mean,
mandatory,
so,
yeah. Yeah, like I mean, if that's mandatory, like okay,
obviously you're doing something illegal if that's your
I guess.
mandatory things. Unless you're selling
Yeah.
hookers or blow, having mandatory hookers or blow.
Yeah. Like how the fuck is that a business expense there?
Yeah, especially then of course the guy's just an absolute creep when it comes to his children because he basically tried to claim that he wasn't making any money on things while he's spending this kind of money on hookers and blow. Right? I mean, the guy is the whole group of them are getting their monies from kickbacks from your tax dollars. Right? They basically funnel money, all right, to these these other agencies, specifically the Ukraine, right? And they get a kickback from it. That's how these guys get a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, and they funnel
I
it
mean,
through
hell.
various different shell corporations, which is exactly what Hunter did. And yet, when it's pointed out to the press goes, "Oh no, there's no evidence there. What the hell is this evidence of?" You got these companies that have no business giving millions of dollars, and they've given millions of dollars. They've got the receipts and they got the bank accounts showing where millions of dollars have been given to Biden, Joe Biden, not his son, to Joe Biden. Okay, from all these companies that Biden, Joe, or his Hunter and his other brother worked for. Okay, and you're like, for what? What is this money coming for? We know what it is. It was all a kickback scheme, all paid for
And they
on
have
the
the
American
audacity. They have the audacity to be like, well, what about Trump and his hotels? His hotels were there before his presidency, first of all. Secondly, he didn't run his hotels while he was president. His son did.
Yeah.
And third, like, you're gonna have questionable people stay at fucking hotels. It's just gonna happen. Like, these people, like, they'll attack people like that, or the famous quote with Joe Biden going, "Just pay your share." Tell that to your son, motherfucker.
Pay your fair share. What's your fair share? Tell me what a fair share is. Give me a percentage of what a fair share is. Because we know none of you sons of bitches are paying your fair share.
And then whenever we got them on the rules, they'll just fucking change the rules.
Right, exactly. Or they'll ignore them. Then you have these judges basically these things like this federal government, this federal jury handing out an $83 million award. Okay, for what? Tell me how this justifies $83 million aside from the fact that you want to punish Trump.
Oh, did you look up who the judge is, by the way?
Oh, I know who he is. Okay, he's another.
Yeah, he was appointed by Clinton.
Right. They're a bunch
I
of.
wonder if that's a coincidence.
Right. They're just a bunch of corrupt people. The judge should have thrown this case out on her a long time ago. All right. They should have just thrown it out. But see, they want to punish Trump. They don't give a shit whether he did anything wrong or not. And if you want to get him on things that he does wrong, I don't have a problem. But their main reason for trying to do this is to punish Trump because they don't like the fact that he stood up to them. All right, let's get to just a few more stories left here. All right, woman killed pet gecko in a garbage disposal. A West Virginia woman, see, it wasn't Florida this time. So that's a good thing, right?
Oh my god.
A West Virginia woman charged with animal cruelty after she placed a pet gecko into a garbage disposal and turned the appliance on during a violent confrontation yesterday with her boyfriend, police report said. That's pretty rude. that's pretty harsh. Receiving an anonymous 911 call about a domestic disturbance at an apartment complex in Hurricane, a Charleston suburb, cops spoke with a man who identified as a domestic battery victim in a criminal complaint. The man told the cops that he and Hannah Jones, 19, were going to have sex when they got home, but it did not work out as planned. A verbal argument followed, during which he called Jones a slut. Yeah, that'll end the relationship pretty quick. Just pointing out, calling someone a slut is not a way to get them into bed. All right,
Either that, or maybe she really wanted it, and then like he was like, "Nah, I have a headache," and then she was like, no, you better freaking do this to me and all this. And then he was like, now listen here, slut.
He was talking dirty to
I
her.
don't feel like
She
it.
should have appreciated it, right?
Yeah, like maybe, I guess. But like, oh, she struck him.
All right, she sucked
But it's
with a
allegedly.
she
Notice how that's allegedly.
allegedly then struck the man twice with a curtain rod, leaving him with a knot and lacerations on his forearm. Questioned about the confrontation, Jones reportedly confessed to hitting the man, dumb, all right, adding that she threw flower pots, busted a fish tank, and turned on another apartment dweller. This woman was completely out of control. She further stated that she
I
took the
guess he
pet
was
gecko they
really
had
good at doing what
and
he
put
did.
it into this garbage disposal and turned it on, shredding the pet gecko to pieces. She was arrested for animal cruelty, a felony, and domestic battery, a misdemeanor. She was booked into custody on $10,000 bond, but does not appear to still be behind bars, according to the online jail records.
Well,
Um,
obviously. Now, switch the roles and let's just picture this woman being the victim, right?
okay.
That man would still be in prison.
Well, he might be in victim, might still be in prison, but I think the gecko gets off. I think the gecko survives the incident. If you want to know the truth of the matter, because
Yeah.
if he was the one wielding the curtain rod, she's not getting up off the floor. And I'm not trying to say that this is a good thing, okay? But
But like this is why I don't really trust
loons,
this is why I don't really trust like at all at this point.
19,
Oh, I'll pair it.
19-year-old lunatic is what that was.
My
Okay. Runaway parrot reunites with owner, canine's best friend. The dog owns the parrot?
runaway.
A singing parrot, so it's not even a normal parrot, all right, found wandering loose on the streets of England, has been reunited
Oh,
with his owner and his canine best friend. The RSPCA said the cockatiel, I didn't think a cockatiel was a parrot, I guess I'm wrong, all right, was found lost on the street near Kersley area of Bolton near Manchester, sparking a search for his owner. The group said the talkative bird, named Ernie, has now been reunited with the owner, Alison Roberts, after she saw a video of the bird singing at his foster family's home on Facebook. Roberts said Ernie was happy to see her again, really, but not as happy as he was to reunite with the family dog, Lottie. And Lottie's like, food. As soon as he saw her, he reacted. I let him out of his cage. Hey, Bint! Did you think that maybe the bird escaped when you let it out of the cage the first time? What makes you think this is a good idea? What a dingbat! No wonder the bird was wandering loose.
oh my God.
The night we lost him, Lottie was in the kitchen waiting to go out for his wee wee, and we didn't see Ernie on his back when the dog was underneath the table. I was calling for him in the nights, all right, in hopes that he'd fly back in. This woman is an idiot.
Oh my God. Yeah, I let him out, and then like they were reunited with the dog, and then he got
I
really
did.
excited, and then he left again. I don't know why.
I let the bird fly around the house, and then I opened the door and it flew outside. I couldn't believe it. It flew outside.
Well, yeah, that's what they do.
Final story of the day. Final story. Elephant family work together to save baby stuck in the mud. A tiny baby elephant found itself stuck in a muddy puddle and had no way out until its family came to the rescue and saved it. Jolanda de Klerk witnessed this moment of an elephant family coming together and working as one. All right. While on honeymoon with her husband, Jolanda shared this heartwarming sighting and footage with latestsightings.com. Basically, now for those who don't know, there's the dry season in many parts of Africa. They're not a joke. Okay, when the dry season hits, these the water holes shrink to nothing, and animals got to sit up there and go, you know, collect around there. And of course, elephants will turn a water hole into a mud hole. PDQ. All they got to do is walk through it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
can and you know, working on a.
Okay. To give.
Go ahead.
Mhm. Okay. To give a good description of this, all right. There are places in Africa, because the water is so scarce sometimes, where every type of animal will sit there and drink at that watering hole and not actually attack each other.
Yes.
It's like a neutral zone. Like you'll have like lions with hyenas sitting there drinking. Like they won't chase after each other, they won't harass each other. They'll drink and then they'll go away from the watering hole.
Exactly.
It's yeah, it's always wholesome to see these types of stories though. I wish humans would actually get the same.
Let's see if we can watch this thing as they get the elephant. See, the elephant's going to get something to drink. Gets its baby in there. The baby's like, no, no, I don't want any of this. The rest of them like, oh, down he goes. And now he's stuck. Look at the poor thing. The other elephants are like, hey, dummy, get out. No, no, dummy, come here. I'm sure that elephant was absolutely. You can see wildebeest over here, right? Those are wildebeest. And the
Yeah.
elephants aren't doing anything with them aside from just trying to get their young one out. It's exactly what you were talking about, where they go into these holes. And that's the other thing. Look at how steep it is going down to this watering hole, right? To where the water is. Right? You can see how steep it is. Even the adult elephants are having a problem. You know, just trying to nurse the small little elephant out as it goes through.
Yep.
Then they basically lock trunks. Well, they're trying to lock trunks. Hey, lady, you could have done a better job with your camera work. Nothing against anybody, but it would have been nice if they
Yeah.
if she'd have stayed stable on the thing. Now, granted, I'd be a little nervous with this many elephants around, right? Because look at the size of that thing. Look at the size of that one bull elephant.
Yeah.
That's an elephant that says, "I'm in
That
charge."
thing
Uh,
can. Yeah, that thing can just stomp and make you fall down.
it's obviously the patriarch. That one's obviously the patriarch of the group. It's so much larger than the rest of the elephants. Here, excuse me, I poop in your face.
We got to see a wholesome moment and a wholesome moment.
Man, they're just like, look at this. They're like, all right, we're gonna bully you out over this way. There we go. Finally, come this way. We're gonna kick you out through the whole thing and turn what used to be a watering hole into a mud hole. Feel sorry for the other
Now we
animals
got
that are
to
gonna go
go
in and
3 miles and find a new one.
especially after they pooped in it, right? Uh, I mean, it is nice to see that the elephants working together, and they're very very family oriented. Elephants tend to be very territorial, but they also are very
Hmm.
family oriented. So, but that was the final story of the day. I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you, Bash, and thank my other co-host who had to leave early because D&D was more important to them. Well, actually, a different game, but
Yep.
I'm teasing them. I
Jensen
know.
and Batman.
I appreciate.
Shout out to Jensen and Batman.
I do appreciate them coming out, and I hope that you all have a good day. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye, everybody.